if there's such a thing as love at first sight, that was it. Hello, Disney family, and welcome back to our channel.
It's your channel.
I know, but I feel like you're here and you're always on it because of vlogs and stuff. So, this comes to you as a very highly requested video. I don't know why people are this interested, but I have been asked, I can't even count how many times, to please share our story. So I commandeered my wife and asked her if she would sit down and share our love story with you.
You're gonna do it with me.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I figured she's what better person to invite along but you. So I have Leanne here, who, if you didn't know, is my wife. We've been married for how many years?
What are we going by? Wedding or domestic partnership?
There's
or
a lot.
Marriage according to the state of Iowa or the federal government?
I would say November 23rd, 2012.
Yeah.
So almost 7 years. We've been married, yeah. We've been married almost 7 years, so 6.5, right? Yeah, 6.5 years. And we've been together for 9 this May. And so our story, I don't know, is it
Can you believe it?
No.
9 years?
No. I wouldn't say our story is any more interesting than anyone else, but it's probably interesting because we're a same-sex couple, so people always wonder.
Well, it's funny because so we met at a bar.
We
like
did.
The
And we'll get to that. We'll teach you.
Old-fashioned way at a bar, and at the time it was like kind of scandalous because like meeting at a bar was, not taboo, but just like
We met in 2010, so
yeah.
The internet wasn't at like the
internet
height
dating
in which
was
it
not
now.
really that big of a thing back then. So like, you know, meeting at a bar or whatever.
Yeah, it was like, whoa.
But now the fact that we just like met in person is like mind-boggling to people because the majority of people date online.
I mean, here's
so
the thing.
now like we have a very traditional story, like seeing each other at a bar.
I mean, you think of it like this way, like 90% of the population identifies as heterosexual, and so we're only in 10% of the population, and even then we're 10% of like big population. So like even of that, I would say, because let's say 50-50.
What, people who identify as lesbians make up like a tiny percentage
of even the 10%
of the entire population.
So like the fact that we were even able to find each other is kind of crazy.
Yep.
Especially at a bar where like, we talk about this.
Well, it was a gay bar, so the chances of meeting a lesbian were a little bit higher.
But it was at a bar that's similar to Coyote Ugly.
Do you want to just tell the story?
So let's tell our story.
Okay.
So that was a long introduction.
So it was a Friday night in 2010.
Yes. It was May 7th.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, May 7th. And
May 7th, 2010.
So in Los Angeles, there's a neighborhood called West Hollywood, which there are a lot of gay bars.
Yeah, there's a lot of gay bars. It has a high gay population. It's just like, you know, there's all different kinds of neighborhoods all across the United States that have it's just, they tend to be very safe neighborhood, and it's just a bunch of gay bars. So West Hollywood is known, that's where like Pride is held. So the Pride Parade, that's where a lot of like centers for LGBTQ are. So there's just like a lot of resources there as well, I would say.
So we didn't know each other. I randomly ended up in West Hollywood with a couple guy friends and decided to go into
Drew and James.
Yeah, Drew and James. Decided to go into a bar called Truck Stop. Truck Stop is actually it's not there anymore, but it was actually a bar called Here, and on Friday nights it was like girls' night. And so it was called Truck Stop, and it was like, we like to refer to it as the lesbian version of Coyote Ugly, because every like 15 minutes a huge siren would go off, and then girls would like get up on the bar and dance and
do these like choreographed dancers, but they were the bartenders as well, and like they had these giant posters of them like hung across. So
it was a very fun,
it was really fun.
Place.
It was really fun.
Yeah, it was the best.
I mean, if you want to go look it up, you can literally put in Truck Stop West Hollywood in YouTube, and you can find. I'm not going, this is a family channel, so I'm not going to be linking any videos.
Everybody who is a lesbian who spent any time in LA back in the day when it was open knows what Truck Stop
Yeah,
is.
definitely went to Truck Stop.
So you had just moved to LA.
Yes, I had moved to LA March 1st. So this was like 2 months and a week after I had moved to Los Angeles. And a friend of mine was like, I have to take you to this bar. This bar is so much fun. Like, you're new to LA, I have to take you. And I was like, all right, let's go. And so I went over to her place, we got ready, and then we went to Truck Stop. And I lived in Seattle, which has like a really big gay neighborhood, and like but there's nothing like Truck Stop. There's nothing like Truck Stop.
The first time you go in, you're kind of like, whoa.
It's very overwhelming.
Yeah. So I was hanging out with Drew and James, and at some point we were talking, I was single, and I think Drew asked me like what kind of girls I liked, and this is a true story. And I kind of like, you know, scoped out the bar, and I saw a girl, and I was like, that girl's my type, but she's either straight, spoiler alert, it was Allie, she's either straight because she was the only girl in the entire bar carrying like a big purse, like a legitimate purse. Or I was like, she's either straight or she's dating that girl who she's with, which was Kate, one of her friends. And so that conversation kind of ended, and then later on.
So, I mean, like, no joke, even before we had talked or met, like, you were standing outside by, so the way this bar works is like kind of an open air bar. Like, it has like these big windows that are not windows.
There's like a bar and a dance floor inside, and then there's these big, like giant windows, like fire station kind of doors that open.
So it's kind of like this inside outside
most places
area
in LA where they have like giant windows that go up, and then the rest of the space is outside. So then there was like this outside section and another bar.
And it was, so Leanne was standing out by a tree. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You were just standing with her friends, and I was standing, I don't know, 10, 15 feet away, right? Probably. And I kind of turned around and I saw her from like 10 or 15 feet away. Now, granted, we have not met, we have not spoken, and I saw her and I was like, oh my gosh, that is the most beautiful girl I have ever seen in my entire life. That's literally how I felt. And I was like, I must talk to her. But like, I was also with another friend, so like I wasn't also.
It was like that. Have you seen Big Fish?
No.
Do you remember the popcorn scene?
No, I've never seen it, but I've heard about it. It's like
I
this
always
slow
talk about
motion.
it. There's this great scene in a movie called Big Fish, which is a Tim Burton movie, where
if I can put this scene in,
Ewan McGregor, we can cut it in. Ewan McGregor sees somebody across, and he's at a circus, and there's like popcorn in the air, and time just like stops, and he walks through the crowd, and he's like pushing the popcorn away, and it's just like.
And it sounds silly, but that's honestly what that moment in time felt like. It was literally like I only saw her, and I was like, that is the most beautiful human being I've ever seen on this planet. I must speak to her. And I don't know how it was for you, but you remember the moment too. It wasn't just a moment for me, it was a moment for her, because our eyes locked, and that was kind of it. And then, so anyway, I went back inside, and I was still talking to my friend Kate, and I was like, well, I want to dance, because I love to dance. And so I went, I saw you again. You were back on the like back wall.
Yeah, and then after that.
First, there was another moment.
Yeah, we kept kind of like meeting eyes, and then later I strategically placed myself near you,
directly
on the dance
behind
floor, but had not yet gathered the courage to like say anything, so just kind of like dancing close-ish to
so I turned around and she's directly behind me. Like, I could not have thrown something any closer. You were literally like,
you turned around and it was
me.
like we were face to face.
Yeah, and I said, you are the most.
No, that's not what you said.
What did I say?
You said, I'm really attracted to you.
That's what I said.
She said, I'm really attracted to you.
I'm really attracted to you.
And I said.
And you know, and the thing about that is, like, I wasn't, like, at this point, our eyes had met a couple of times. And when I say attracted to, it wasn't just like a physical attraction. There was like a like magnetic attraction. It was not just, and if
It's weird to say it now, but it didn't feel weird at the time.
it didn't feel weird at the time, and like it wasn't weird for you either because she felt it. And like, if there's such a thing as love at first sight, that was it. Like, and I mean, people could have called us crazy, and we would, and 9 years later we are very happily married. And
well, I got your number.
yeah,
We danced, we talked. You had to make sure that you remember you asked me what sport I played. You asked me if I had a job. And she asked me how old I was. And I think like with those 3 things, like I was 24, I had a full-time job. I used to play sports, and I think that was like,
For the
that really
record,
clinched it for Allie.
my wife was a D1 athlete at
It
the
was
University of
100 years
Oregon.
ago.
She was she still is an incredible athlete. She's a runner. She's my Run Disney person.
So I got your number.
Yeah.
And then the next night, remember you called me. You called me the next day, and I was like, oh my gosh, you called me.
Wait, but first we texted all night.
We texted all night. when we
and
got
into
home.
like the morning, like I went to bed and then I started texting her the second I woke up.
And then you were going to like a barbecue somewhere.
Yeah, it was like a little party.
And so I picked you up, and we went to like friends, and we ended up to see some of your friends. We ended up talking all night.
Yeah.
And then I dropped you back off at your
Wait, we
apartment.
went on, that was our first like official date.
No, I know.
Cat in the
Remember?
Fiddle.
No, I dropped you
Or
off
no,
at
not
your
Cat.
apartment.
What was the, wait, what
Yeah,
was
it was
the
Cat in the Fiddle.
No, it
but-
wasn't.
Yes, it was. I dropped you off at your apartment, and I like made it down the block. It was probably like 11 or midnight, but we had been hanging out for like 5 hours.
Yeah.
So at that time, it was like the socially
It
appropriate
felt like
time
appropriate,
to go
like, oh,
away.
I should probably go
I
home.
got down the end of the block. I don't remember who texted who first, but we were like,
I
I think
probably
you
texted you.
said I'm not done hanging out.
Yeah.
And I was like, me neither. So I circled back around, I picked you up, and then we went to Cat in the Fiddle, which is another bar that's no
Now
longer
closed.
there. But we just like talked all night,
Yeah.
and yeah, and then that was it. And then like we literally did not spend a day apart
Until I went to my sister's graduation like a month later.
until you went home for your sister's graduation,
Yeah.
high school graduation.
We would just like pack a weekend bag and like go to
But
one
like
of our
since
places.
then, there hasn't been a day that we didn't like talk or see each other.
No, and I would say like, so a week after we met, we said I love you. And I mean, people kind of called us crazy. Honestly, like 24 hours at Cat in the Fiddle, I looked at you and I was like, I could marry you tomorrow. And like, I know that sounds weird because I had met her 24 hours prior, but I just like I said, I was just like drawn to her. I was attracted, I was drawn to you. I don't know how else to explain it. And 9 years later, like, talking to you is the best decision I ever made.
It's weird because like I remember when we said I love you for the first time, yeah, it had only been like a week. And I meant it, you know, like I totally meant it. And now thinking about it, it's like,
I mean,
think
I
we
love
you
you
so
so much
much
deeper.
on a such deeper and more complex level because of the things that
We've gone
been
through.
through and like all the stuff. But it's just like bizarre. It's
Yeah.
like that in that moment we knew.
Yeah. Like if you could live on love alone, we would live for an eternity.
Is that a good song lyric?
Oh.
Did
I
you
should
just
write
say?
a song.
Did you just make that up?
Yeah.
Oh,
Should I write songs?
maybe.
Find a new career path.
Can I take a Diet Coke break?
Yeah, go ahead. So that summer we went to Vegas. Remember that? With Anna and Kim.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to Vegas that summer, and then, I don't know, I would say like a year, it was almost
Are
a
we
year.
doing like the whole story?
Yeah, we're doing our story, and then, oh, I was gonna say, well, I mean, like, we're gonna kind of fast forward to our wedding, our
Okay.
engagement and wedding.
Okay. Yeah, then we got engaged and
Well,
then we got
no.
married.
Stop it.
Like you do. Like they do.
I wasn't gonna include like Ruthie and Rosie.
Okay.
If you guys want to hear about if you want to hear about our girls,
How our decision to have children.
yeah, our decision to have children, we can do that in a separate video, I guess. Let us know in the comments if you want to hear that, because that's its own
We get a lot
story.
of questions.
Yeah, we
about
get a
that.
lot of questions about
It's a
that.
really interesting, the whole thing is
The
a
whole-
really
yeah.
interesting topic, and once people start asking questions and we start answering them honestly, people are like super intrigued.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
can share that in another video if you guys are interested. But what I was going to say was we moved in after being together for like 10 months because
Both had
our leases were up and it didn't make sense to not
Yeah.
be living together at that point. And then we got engaged that summer. So I would say 15 months later after we met, 15 months after we met, and we got our engagement story was freaking magic. I want to share that. Our engagement story. You planned it. I can only share so much. I can only share my side, which is very small compared to yours.
Yeah,
We started talking about marriage about a year after
we started talking about marriage, and I think I was still very cynical about things, but and at this point same-sex marriage was only legal in like 5 or 7 states. Like, it was
I
not.
don't think even that many. I think it was 4.
Yeah, I mean, it was still like bar trivia and
Iowa.
name the states that have.
Yeah. Name the states that marriage is legal.
But you and I started talking about it, and I remember we just happened to be over in Glendale one day, and we went into Robbins Brothers, and we started ring shopping, and I remember the salesperson who we love, Jenny. Shout out.
Our salesperson that we love, Jenny.
Yeah, our salesperson that
She's
we love,
amazing.
Jenny, asked me something like, do you want to marry her? And I was like, yeah. Do you want to spend the rest of your life with her? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And she was like, what are you waiting for? And I was like, it was one of those moments where you're like, what am I waiting for? Like, it's like the thing with having kids, like, you're never gonna be, there's never gonna be this
there's never enough
perfect
money.
time where you have time and money and all these things to do all the things. So it was like, there came a point in my life where I remember being like, I don't want to not have you. Like, I knew that I wanted you around, but I knew that I didn't want to not ever not have you around. And that to me was a shift, because before I met Allie, I mean, I'm an introvert and I love spending time by myself, and I like really enjoy my time by myself. And I remember that when I met Allie, it was the first time I ever felt like I had more fun with somebody else than I did just like being alone. And that's when I was like, okay, this is actually somebody that I could stand to be around every day and hang out with, live with. There are compromises.
There's always compromise.
Yeah, and so then
You're 2 completely different people.
So I got the ring, started paying it off. I hid it in the Yahtzee box at the top of the closet, and I told one person where it was in case like I died suddenly, and then nobody would ever know where it was. And then
Amy?
No, I told Kate where it was. And then Amy, who was a friend who was working at Disney at the time, helped me come up with a plan.
Magical
We called it
engagement.
Operation Parapluie, which is the French word for umbrella. And so I decided to propose like around the corner of the Beauty and the Beast stage show.
So we had VIP seating at the Beauty, and if you
At
guys,
MGM, at Hollywood
Yeah.
Studios.
But
So we got up one morning.
Bella's my favorite.
Yeah, so I knew Belle was your favorite.
Wait, we gotta preface this. So this is my parents' 30th wedding anniversary, and they had taken all of us kids. Like, I have 3 siblings, so there's 4 kids in my family. I have an older brother, a younger brother, and a younger sister, who you guys have seen throughout various vlogs and stuff. But my parents, for their 30th wedding anniversary, took us all to Walt Disney World, because that's where we celebrate everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I didn't ask them for permission until we got there, but because I wanted to do it in person. But I asked them over Skype if I could ask them something important and if it would be okay to do that on their trip, because I didn't want to like take over the wedding anniversary trip. But yeah, they were super cute. Everybody cried when I asked. It was very cute, touching.
Do we have the video?
Of proposing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could try and slip it in. It's not as great quality, but
Yeah.
I'll try and if I can find it, I can slip in a real.
What? My person. No! Will you marry me?
I was nervous. You
Real
know,
quick,
you
what?
always want to say like a million things, but as soon as I pulled the ring out, Allie just started we had a discussion, and I told her I wasn't doing it over the trip. So like, she really believed that it wasn't happening.
I truly believed that.
And when I told you that, I wasn't going to.
And you know, the thing was for me, you had already made a promise that you wanted to spend the rest of my life with you, and the rest of your life with me. Bethany's joking over there. Okay, Bethany. So when we had discussed getting married, you were like, I'm not ready to be engaged or to get married yet. And I said that was fine because I trusted that when you said you wanted to spend the rest of your life with me, you meant it. And like at that point, I had already taken the promise. I knew I was going to spend the rest of my life with you, and it didn't matter if we were legally married or never married or whatever. If I got to be with you, that's all I cared about. And I really meant that, you know? So, and that's like the key to any relationship is trust and communication. And those have been the top pillars of our relationship, I would say, for anybody out there. Trust and communication are the most important things in a relationship. But yeah, we got married, or we got engaged backstage at the Beauty and the Beast show with the Beauty and the Beast cast, my whole family, and it was, if I can't find a video, I'll stick in a
Everybody knew
photo.
about you and Jillian. And when I pulled out the ring, Allie kept going, no, no, because she was so like taken aback.
I was in disbelief. I couldn't believe it because I truly thought that she just wasn't ready, and I was like, what are you doing with that? Why do you have that ring? I thought you weren't ready.
It was cute. It was a good
But
one.
yeah, when people say, everyone was like, no, she knew I didn't mean no, I'm not gonna marry you. She knew I meant no, I can't believe it. And if you know anything about me, when I'm really happy in like a really great situation, I start yelling
Always comes
no.
out, no, no.
I'm so happy. So yeah, we got engaged that August, and then we got married the following November 2012. So we were together 2.5 years by the time we actually, I don't even know what you want to call it. Our wedding, we call our wedding date November 23rd. Our domestic partnership went through November
Somewhere
6th.
Earlier in November, yeah.
And
We picked up a marriage license in Iowa like
May 1st.
8 months later.
It was May 1st. So, and then federal
government recognized marriage like June 2013 and then 2015.
I was 20 weeks pregnant with Ruthie.
Yeah.
I was pregnant with Ruthie, and that was
Obergefell was 2015.
yeah, and that was such a big deal because you got to be on her birth certificate. So that's a whole nother story. So anyway, we got married in 2012, and then so starting in July of 2012, you decided you wanted to go to law school. That's when you started studying for the bar. It was July.
I took it in October and February.
October and November. Nope, you took it a week after our wedding.
Oh, that's right. I took the LSAT the first time and didn't do well. I had a panic attack. And then, so I took it again a week after our wedding.
And you did phenomenal.
Yeah, and I killed it.
Yeah. You did phenomenal. It opened up a lot of doors, and you decided it. Well, on our honeymoon, you got your LSAT.
On our honeymoon, when you take it, it's like
So we went on a honeymoon to Hawaii.
Yeah, we went on a honeymoon to Hawaii.
We
over
did not
New
stay at
Year's.
Alani though, because half of it was like under construction or something. So we didn't stay at Alani. We stayed at the Hilton.
Yeah, it was nice.
On Oahu.
And but it's like one of those standardized tests, so you don't get your scores back for like 2 months or a month or whatever. Yeah. And so we found out that I had done really well, like on the second to last day of our honeymoon. Yeah. So I applied to a lot of schools.
A lot of good schools.
And since Allie grew up in Michigan, and your parents, like everybody in the family is huge Michigan fans, they were like, you have to apply to Michigan. And I was like, I'm not going to go there. It's way too cold. I grew up in Texas.
It's cold. It's far,
it's snowy.
It's not in LA.
Yeah, I want to be in the film industry. There's no way I'm going to Michigan.
You got into Michigan.
And so I got into Michigan, which was the best law school I got into. And
it was the best law school you applied to.
Yeah, the best law school I applied to. And
it was your beach school.
And then
you got it.
You or your mom or somebody was like, well, just come visit. And I was like, okay, I'll come visit, and this can just add to my list of all the reasons why I shouldn't go to law school in Michigan. And then I got there, and it's like beautiful. It looks like Hogwarts. Go Google the law library, the reading library, if you haven't looked it up. It's like
the reading
majestic.
Library in
It's
Ann Arbor,
beautiful.
Michigan is amazing.
So we were like, all right, let's take a little break from LA and go to Michigan. And the deal was, what was the deal? Do you remember?
I want to have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
I
Compromise.
did.
Allie was like, okay, if you want to go to law school, we can go to Michigan and we're going to get pregnant and have a baby. And I was like,
We
okay.
did. That's a story for another day. Anyway, that's our story.
Now here we are.
That is our story. Obviously, we had 2 kids. We picked up a dog.
Yeah, Bentley.
We have Bentley, who's right below our feet. He's sitting right. You're a good
Look at
boy. So here's Bentley. He's a good boy. You're a good boy. Our love story with Bentley. So if you enjoyed this, give this video a thumbs up. Leave us a comment below. We would love to hear how you met your respective partners too. And if you're just joining us for the first time, I would love for you to subscribe. We don't usually do content like this. It's mainly Disney content, but if you guys would like to see more content like this, let us know. We're happy to shoot it. And as always, I hope to make your trip just a little more magical. See you guys real soon. Bye.